tell us about the soundtrack. As everybody walked in this evening, the soundtrack was playing. As you sign everybody's book afterwards, the soundtrack is going to be playing. One song is better than the other. Tell us about it.
Well, the soundtrack was another thing that just sort of layered on after I wrote the book. So, of course, Frankie, he comes to America. He's this fantastic natural guitar player. He chases this girl that he meets when he's 8 years old. He's like, basically, he chases her all over the globe and finally finds her in New Orleans. And they have this blissfully happy little time together when they're young. And then fame sort of comes along, and he gets in Elvis's band, and he's very handsome. And they start, coming after him to become a singer on his own. And eventually, almost like Pinocchio, and when he's corrupted, they convince him to put his guitar down and just to sing. And this is sort of symbolic of him sort of walking away from his true art for fame, and he becomes famous and becomes like the next Elvis Presley. And of course the love of his life leaves him at that point because she can't bear to watch him squander his talent. And he goes through a whole thing, and then eventually he loses his fame, and then eventually he disappears. So during this whole career part where he's famous, I invented these songs that he did that were famous, and I gave them names, and I wrote some lyrics to them, and tried to make it as real as possible. So there ended up being about a half a dozen songs. And after the book was done, I said, what would be really cool is if these were really songs, because now we've already gotten some people in the book to talk like they were in the book, and now we filmed them to talk, film this. So why don't we record them? And they kept saying yes, so we kept going back. And we contacted some artists, a lot of them young, up-and-coming artists, and they loved the idea. And I went to them, I said, look, here's the thing. It's 1960. The song is called I Want to Love You. It has to kind of sound like Fabian or Elvis Presley. Go. And they took the lyrics that I had, they took the title, and they created songs that are real versions of fake songs, as if they were real songs being re-recorded by new artists. That's simple to follow, right? And we ended up with some, I think they're fantastic. I'm obviously prejudiced, but they did exactly right. They wrote within the boundaries of what it was supposed to be. And after we had 6 of these songs, and then we took other songs that were famous, that were mentioned during the course of the book, and we made a soundtrack. And there's now a soundtrack album of 17 songs, including the originals, and then the originals by other people. So Lyle Lovett's on there, Tony Bennett's on there, and Darlene Love's on there, but also these other artists that recorded these songs for us, Ingrid Michaelson and Matt Kearney and Fred Lee Brown, Bruno Mars's musical director, and all that. And it's just fantastic, and it's like 35 years after trying to make it in the music business, I finally have a record. I had to go steal a whole lot of other people to make it worthwhile, but I co-wrote a lot of those songs because I'm the lyricist, and the one that you heard there, No No Honey, which he wrote the music and the words for that song and was there to produce the record. So it was a real blend of musicianship and talent. And again, I found that the musicians were really happy to do it because they liked sort of an assignment. They all said to me, this is cool, I have an assignment. And I said, well, how's that different than writing another song? He said, no, when you write a song out of the air, you never know when to stop, you never know when it's good, you never know if it's going to work. But you told me, 1960, you gave me the name, this is great, it's like homework, And they really enjoyed it.